You open the book, 2 pages in, your eyes are reading, but is your brain still there? You highlight lines, you feel productive, but कल सुबह इतना ही याद आ जाए कि रात को exactly क्या क्या topics पढ़े थे वही काफी है. ऐसा ही कुछ मेरा भी experience था when I tried to brute force my way through preparing for this exam. Videos देखे, notes बनाए, mind maps भी बनाए, वो पूरा detailed, colorful, felt like solid work. But याद आई तब ना, question पर जाते ही I had to come back again, reread the whole damn thing. उसके बाद भी formula याद नहीं आता था, so it was a mess. If this sounds like you, drop a same in the comments. Just so I know I'm not alone, man. Now, I don't believe that it's because you are not trying. It's just that our methods actually lagged speed. Who am I and why should you even listen to me? Right? I've cracked GMAT, CAT, and cleared CFA, all 3 levels in my first attempts while working full-time. I have an MBA from iQuanta and I have worked in front-end investment banking, closing deals to the tune of 2,500 crores. So I know a thing or two about how to make most of the limited time that I get in the day. I've stitched together ideas from books like Ultra Learning by Scott Young, Cognitive Science, and of course, my personal mistakes into one simple workflow. And today I will give you the rapid 2x system end to end. Let's talk about what happens once you go asking someone for advice as to how to study better. किसी से भी पूछो कि नंबर नहीं आ रहे क्या करूं भाई एक ही आंसर मिलेगा तुम्हें पढ़ नहीं रहे हो लगता है और पढ़ो. So, okay, first time everyone kind of goes like, maybe I'm not studying, maybe I should try studying more or harder or something like that. You do that, you see a little bit of improvement, but not as much as you had hoped for, and certainly not as much as you need. So you go to that person again and you ask the same damn thing, and the answer is exactly what it was earlier. This is not the answer. And please, when I say that our methods kind of lack speed, I'm not talking about reading speed or anything like that. I mean the time from reading something to understanding to recognizing where exactly it's supposed to be applied and then actually applying it. And there are usually 3 ways in which we screw things up. So the first one is indirect learning, passive learning, watching videos, reading notes endlessly instead of actually doing the exam thing. The second is the illusion of fluency. So what do I mean by that? I mean that you basically have your detailed notes, you have highlighted them, so the next time you actually go to them, you reread them quicker. It comes to you easier and it feels as if you're getting fluent with the notes, with the techniques that you've mentioned. Your brain kind of tricks you into thinking that you know all that. But when you actually go to try all that, retrieval fails. And the third is that people don't have feedback loops. You cannot get faster if you don't see why you're slow. So दिक्कत टाइम की है ही नहीं, दिक्कत टेक्निक की है. Speed comes from direct practice, fast feedback, and spaced reinforcement. And that is exactly what the Rapid 2x system kind of reinforces. So let me walk you through that. The first thing is that you need to reverse plan the outcome. So you need to define the end task that you will actually be graded on. So for instance, if you were learning how to speak English for a speech, the end task that you would actually be graded on would be how you delivered the speech. If you are preparing for CAT, then you would be graded on how well you answer those timed MCQs. What are you supposed to do? So just write a 1-page outcome map. What format are you facing? Is it going to be prose? Are you supposed to write essays on the thing, or are they MCQs? In the case of CAT, it's going to be MCQs. So you have to specifically prepare for that. What are the top 3 sub-skills that you actually need for that? For instance, if it is RCs, you need inference, tone, elimination techniques. Those are the things that you actually need. Top 3. Do that for the other 2 sections as well. And of course, the third thing that you have to do is follow Pareto's principle. What are those 20% topics that carry 80% of the weight? Identify those. Those need to be your priority. And look, CAT does give you these opportunities. You just have to see them first. पहले finish line देख लो. Then उसके लिए plan करना शुरू करो. Let's move to the next thing, active recall engine. I have already stressed this in so many videos. If you're still not familiar with spaced repetition and active recall, please watch this video. I'll link it in the description below. You can check it out. Gist of it is this: you have a closed book, you know what you're going to revise, you've made those notes yourself, you've read that part already. Just try to recall, try to remember what was there, and then when you forget, that is when you revise. One of the questions that I usually get when people ask me about active recall is, well, what if I'm not able to remember anything and I don't even remember the headlines? What do I do then? In that case, just open your notes, do a really quick skim, like less than 5 minutes, and then close it. Now you remember the headlines, no? So now just do the same thing. You have the headlines, now try to remember what exactly constituted within those headers. And of course, another thing that helps you a lot in this regard are flashcards, because you can just quickly make flashcards on topics that are high slip areas for you. And all you need to do is just look at the front, try to remember what it was about, and then, check at the back. Boom, you're done. The P in rapid stands for practice, but not just random, unorganized practice. This is contextual practice. So you basically practice for the exact exam format under a clock and try to simulate exam conditions to the best of your abilities. And of course, mocks are one way to do this. Another way to do this is that, okay, let's say you're trying to improve a particular topic. So what you can do is select a set of questions and you can time yourself. So let's say for that section, you took 15 minutes to solve 10 questions. So do a speed ladder. Next time you take a set, you try to solve it in less. By doing this, you keep the pressure on your brain intact that it needs to actually improve. There's always going to be a parameter that you can improve. But you have to remember, completion does not mean that you start sacrificing accuracy left, right, and center. You have to get those questions right. Another thing is that you maintain a log of your decision notes. For instance, एक question आया, you looked at the question, you went straight to the options and you saw दो तो तुरंत ही out हो गए. You were left with two. You were under extreme time pressure and you were trying to decide which one to go with, and you chose one, but it was wrong. Now your decision notes need to log that. You need to understand why was your guess wrong? What was the error in your thinking? That is going to train your brain to actually spot the traps that you can fall into when you're doing things like that. And not just that, even when you're selecting questions in the set to actually do, you need to understand why you chose a question. And this becomes relevant because it will not only help you choose the right questions, but more importantly, it'll help you avoid those speed traps that exam setters deliberately put in the exam. So you have to avoid them at all costs because they will eat your time up like no tomorrow. Maintain a decision log, and that will help you get better at selecting questions. I has to do with interleaving and intervals, so basically spacing things out. Again, I've discussed this at length in my video on revision techniques. CAT is not going to give you different blocks of different topics that you have to basically solve, okay? So there's not going to be a block of arithmetic, there's not going to be a block of algebra, geometry, and stuff like that. Most likely, what you're going to find is that questions require you to use concepts that you may have studied separately. So you basically train yourself to be able to switch contexts quickly. It's also going to give you the flexibility to use those different concepts together if required to do so. Don't do 2 hours straight of quant, kind of mix it. Let's say you do percentages. You spend 15-20 minutes on that, switch. Do profit and loss, switch. Do whatever you had slotted for spaced repetition revision today. Mistakes that you made yesterday, something like that. You interleave, you keep switching contexts within that 2-hour window and space your revisions. It's going to train you to remember, and when used with things like interleaving and active recall, it's one of the best things that you can honestly do. The D is a big one. It's debrief and debug. Keep an error log. So like I told you in the video on analyzing mocks, I used to sort of categorize every question that I either got wrong or got stuck in. I used to do it in 4 buckets. You can have your own buckets, but you need to start doing something like that because that's going to tell you where exactly you're making mistakes. Why are you selecting the wrong questions? And in this error log, you don't just mention what kind of mistakes you're making, but you also try to identify what the trigger for that mistake is. इस टाइप की गलतियां लॉन्ग पैसेजेस में फॉर इंस्टेंस ज़्यादा हो रही हैं, या फिर जहाँ पे ये 2 टाइप के फॉर्मूले ना कंबाइन करने होते हैं वहाँ गड़बड़ कर रहा हूँ, या फिर जहाँ पे भी ये क्वेश्चन की वर्डिंग थोड़ी ऐसी हो जाती है तो मैं कंफ्यूज हो जाता हूँ. Identify those triggers and then fix them. Fix कैसे करोगे? You basically form a heuristic for that. In simple terms, formulate what your actions will be if you come across that situation. And so this will save you a lot of time. You won't have to think in the exam कि यार अब क्या करूँ, ऐसे करूँ. Viktor Frankl wrote that between stimulus and response, there's a space. This rapid 2x system, it gives you that space between reading and really knowing. You don't need longer nights. You need short, well-designed loops that turn effort into speed. Do this for 2 weeks and you will notice the pages move faster. Not because you're reading faster, but because you're recalling them faster, and you will perform better. If you have stayed till here and you are serious about growth, please subscribe. I post regularly about such systems that will keep you grounded while you chase ambitious goals. Or comment rapid 2x if you want my error log template and I'll make sure to pin it. Good luck.